Hello everyone, Anonymous here, and I hope you all are well. First of all, very happy new year to all of you. As you pursue your dreams and goals, may this year bring you much success and your journey be wonderful. In this video, we will talk about the brand new plugin from Cymatics, the Diablo Lite. It is a macro processor which enhances your sound and deals with the transients of the drums, the distortion, and overall quality of your sound. So I will tell you the good thing about it, the bad things, how it works, what is the effect of the different knob on the harmonics and overall sounds. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So first, let's talk about the good thing about the Diablo. The best thing, in my personal view, is that it uses only 1% of the CPU, and it's a really impressive figure in comparison to its counterparts like Soundgoodizer or Sauces Fattener or any other one knob plugin. This is really good. The second good thing about this plugin is that it uses different processing for different frequency range, so you get a very good results no matter what kind of drum or instrument you use. Also, I forgot to mention that even if you push every single setting to its extreme, let me drop the volume here, it won't increase the CPU uses, right? So that's a really good thing. I really like the efficiency of this plugin because when you choose the plugin for your production, you are not only looking for the quality, but also if you can use it multiple times, right? So that's a good thing. Um, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have any flaws. The biggest flaw of the Diablo is it takes up a lot of project space for its size and function. One single load can take up to 350 megabytes, and on the second load it can go up again 70 megabytes. So I don't know how it does that, but that's really extreme. So if you're using a 32-bit DAW which has limited space for the project, this can be a problem. Another problem with the Diablo is that its knobs are really sensitive. So even if you tweak it a little bit, it will go extreme. So that's a thing to watch out for. But lucky for us, you can just double click it and put the value. So that's really good. By the way, Cymatics must have mentioned the name of the coder and the interface designer. It's really good. I wanted to personally thank them. Everyone does it. That is why I really love ImageLine as a company. They support the creators. Every single plugin of the FL Studio has the name of the designer, the coder, the graphic designer. They even take the creators from the YouTube, which is really impressive. So yeah, please mention the name of the developer of this plugin, the coder, even if it's you. I would like to thank them personally. But talking about the flows, there is another bug in the interface. So this thing here is to resize the plugin. But what happens is that if you click it and move the plugin, it leaves behind the option like a dog leaves its turd. That wasn't the best example, was it? I haven't touched any drink yesterday, but it's coming out weird. But yeah, it works just fine, so that's not a problem, right? Yeah, it works fine. So it's a simple bug, nothing big deal. All right, so in the middle here we have the a visual, and here we have the meters, which is another cool thing. This is another cool function of the Diablo. When you have the metering in the plugin, it becomes really easy to control the sound, the distortion, and the overall punch. So that's really good. Now let's talk about how these things work. What is the effect of these functions on the sound and the harmonics? And I found a really interesting thing about this. So let's check the punch function first. You can either enable it or disable it using these function. Okay, so let's disable the clip and use the punch here. Okay, one more flaw here in the plugin, and it's a really big one. You cannot completely make the volume 0. Even if I drop the input, okay, even if I drop the input and the output and the mix, the sound still comes out. You can turn off everything and still you can hear the kick drum. Okay, if you turn on the mix, then it will become really low, but the harmonics still comes out. So if I want to drop the volume to 0 in the plugin, I cannot do that. So it's a really big flaw in the plugin. What I personally think is that these input and output function are not actually volume control, but the drive control. If you push the input or output, you will introduce some drive in the sound. Right? So these are not actually the volume control, but the drive control. So that's something you need to watch out for. Okay, now let's move on to the study of how these things work. What is the effect of punch and the clip? So first let's talk about the punch. Let me set it to 0, this one to 0, and this to 100. Okay, now let me tell you a very interesting thing about this plugin. The punch function, what it does is that if your harmonics are in the range of 0 to 40 hertz, it will act as a amplifier. Okay, it will only increase the level of the sub, nothing much. Right? Keep your eye on the main analyzer of the FL Studio. Things will get really interesting from here. After the 40 hertz, right now we are in 41. After 40 hertz, the punch function starts to distort the signal and introduce some tube harmonics. As you can see here, right? So in the sub-frequency, there is no distortion. But as soon as you clear the line of 40 hertz, you will see more harmonics. And the distortion is maximum at 40 to 50 hertz, and then it decreases gradually up to 400 to 700 hertz. Right, so around 400 the distortion drops to 0, and now the punch function will act as a transient shaper slash compressor. So now you get a transient shaper, and at the top of the frequency spectrum you get another distortion. So that's how the overall plugin work. And when you put them all together, you get an overall harmonic rich sound with a good punch. So that's how the punch function work. Now let's look at the clip function here. To understand the clip function, I will bring out the FL Studio limiter, not to limit the function, but to analyze the signal coming out of the Diablo. So what I want you to do now is look at the peak of the kick drum as I push the clip function and change the setting here. With the soft clip, you will see that the top transient of the kick drum are soft. So as you can see here, the transients are really soft. But when I push it to hard setting, you will see that the top transients become flat. Okay, so these transients here, these are flat, and these are a little curved, some softness in here. So that's the difference between the soft and the hard. Also, in the beginning of the video, I said that the input and output work as a drive. So let's try this as well. I will push the input function here and look at the top transient of the kick drum. Right, so when you increase the input, it will clip the audio and you will get soft or hard clip depending on how much do you push the input or output level. So that's how the drive works, the punch work, and the clip work. Also, these things changes when you apply the settings on the plugin. So here we have a lead sound that I designed in the serum, and when you push the function of the Diablo, let's check the sound. Now the algorithm doesn't work like the kick drum. It acts like an exciter, and it's really good. Let's try another lead sound that I designed here. What I saw is that the input function, the drive, works really good on the lead sounds and other synths, while on the drum the punch and the clip sounds really good. So that's how you should work on it. That's how you should use it in your audio project. It's a really good synth. Sorry, it's a really good effect plugin, but you have to be careful about how to use it, how much project space it's taking, and how it is affecting the signal. By the way, one more thing I forgot to mention, which is that the punch function also introduced some harmonics on the top. So look at the analyzer here as I increase the punch, and you will see some harmonics on the top end. As you can see, we have more harmonics on the top end. So that's how the Diablo works. I hope you learned something. I'll see you around with some more cool tutorial. Enjoy your parties.